let me tell you something. Trying to do a podcast when you have a dog is absolute work. I have 3 dogs, so trying to get them to settle down during a podcast is work. Barb Jones 345, Sports Talk. Welcome back. We are coming up to an end in season 2 here, right when football season kicks in for real on the 4th or the 5th. I think the 5th, no, the whatever day. I think it's the 4th. Then on Thursday, then that week we'll go into the next season, which is season 3. You can download the podcast in audio at the link you see here on the screen at the Buzzsprout link. Also available on Apple Podcasts and Spotify and almost every platform. If you are listening in audio right now, you already are aware of where to get the podcast at. Barb Jones 345. How y'all doing today? We are going to wrap up, or we're going to talk about some NFL preseason today. We're going to start off with an NBA article. How y'all doing, man? Thanks for downloading, listening, and watching. All of the ways to find the podcast should be on your screen. The Buzzsprout link is there. The YouTube page is there. TikTok, X, all of that's on here. So just look at the screen, follow. I appreciate all your follows. It's been a couple weeks. I usually try to get an episode out every week. It's been like 2 weeks. Just not a whole lot to talk about. No basketball. Football's in preseason, and that's what we're going to talk about today. But first of all, sorry, I need some water there. Woo! It's hot, man. We in Ohio, so it's super hot. It's been super humid, super muggy. It's just it hasn't been comfortable, and I cannot wait till fall comes, till all this comes to an end. We're going to get into some NBA here. Malik Beasley is part of a gambling probe. Apparently, when Malik Beasley was with the Milwaukee Bucks 2 years ago, he is accused of rigging the game in some way or manner. I don't know exactly what the format, what the criteria was for the investigation. What I do know is that Malik Beasley is broke. Malik Beasley has made $60 million in his NBA career, and right now he is being evicted from his apartment for $21,000 in unpaid rent. So first of all, that doesn't even sound like a lot of money for someone who made $60 million. $21,000 in unpaid rent, and he also owes many other people. He owes his agent. His agent gave him an advance, which is weird to get an advance from your agent. I've never heard of that. But his agent gave him an advance of $650,000. He also owes a barber, a dentist, and some loan companies. So Malik Beasley is broke. He's blown $60 million in some format. And my guess is that he was caught rigging games to make money for somebody. Now, this is the allegation. Nothing has been proven. Again, this is an allegation. But Malik Beasley is under investigation for rigging games when he was with Milwaukee. And all of the financial status adds up to him wanting to rig the game. If the guy was this poor, if this guy was managing his money this badly, then him rigging the game makes sense. It's motivation to rig a game. This looks like this man owes the mafia or something out here rigging games. He done blew through $60 million. He has mismanaged his money very poorly. Anyways, that's all I gotta say is Malik Beasley is in deep trouble with the NBA for potentially, allegedly rigging games, and he is also in trouble with many loan companies and many other people. And I'm guessing there's probably some underground people here that he's probably in charge with, because who are you rigging the games for? He didn't bet on the games, so he's rigging the games for someone else who's betting on the game so they can win some money. Now, why are you doing that? Because you owed him people. When athletes rig games, they rig them for the mafia. Because they owed him people, or loan sharks. And loan sharks are the mafia. So there's that, and there's that. We're going to move on to football. The reason I got the Raiders Seahawks up here, even though they tied in the preseason game, is because Ashton Jeanty just had a really poor game. -1 yard rushing. He only got 3 attempts. So it's not like they gave him a bunch of attempts. I'm sure if he had 5 attempts, he probably would have turned that into positive yards. So 3 attempts is not a lot to go off of. The reason I'm more so posting this is because of the Seahawks. I think the Seahawks have a really good. I think they have a better team than what people anticipate here. They got rid of. DK Metcalf, but they still have Smith and Jigma, and then they brought in Cooper Kupp. So Cooper Kupp and Smith and Jigma can be I think they can be a pretty formidable 1 and a 2. You got Sam Darnold, and then they ran Jalen Milroe. They let Milroe play after Locke. And, Milroe is a leg guy. Of course, he didn't throw a touchdown, but he didn't throw an interception. He was 6 for 10, and he ran for 38 yards. He's a running guy. But that's not bad. He didn't throw no interceptions. He didn't turn the ball over. 6 for 10 and 60% completion. So I like what Seahawks are trying to do. Are they going to be anything in that division? I think they can get number 2. I think the Seahawks can get above the 49ers. I think the 49ers are in a decline, if you ask me. I think that division can be the Rams and the Seahawks easily. 49er fans are going to like hearing that. And 49ers, I think, can still take 2. I think number 1 is going to the Rams, if you're asking my questions about the division. And then you got to deal with the Cardinals, who are there. They're not exactly automatically a last place team either. So they're there. So that division should be very interesting. That's all I really got to say about this. Jeanty, I wouldn't worry about Jeanty. We got a lot more preseason coming up today and tomorrow. It's Friday. So today and tomorrow we got more preseason coming up. So we're going to probably see Jeanty go out there again. But he only got -1 yard in this game, and there's a lot of hype around this guy. Fantasy teams, fantasy websites, or to ESPN and Yahoo are telling people to take him top 5. There's a lot of hype around this guy, and I need to see something because he didn't do a whole lot in the playoffs in college. That last game he played, he just didn't do a whole lot. Took him 30 carries to get 100 yards. That's a lot. So I just need to see something. I need to see something before I put this guy in a top 5 running back. Like, there's people putting him in top 5, and he's got -1 yard. So I need to see something, Mr. GT. Colts. Typical Colts, a lot of bumbling around. Anthony Richardson got hurt in 5 minutes. He only threw 3 passes, 2 for 3, but then he got hurt. Then Daniel Jones came in 10 for 21, so, not terrible. He didn't turn the ball over. Then Riley Leonard came in and threw a pick 6. This is Richardson's 3rd year, and he hasn't done a whole lot going into year 3. And I'm not that confident about Daniel Jones being the backup either, because Daniel Jones has had so many chances with the Giants, and he just has not shown anything throughout his career that's worth a damn. He made the playoffs that one time. I think he won a game. But I'm just not that excited about him being the backup. I don't see much happening. What I do like from the Colts was Tyler Warren. 3 catches, 40 yards. The Colts' first-round pick. I think is going to do well regardless of who the QB is. I think Tyler Warren is a great tight end who's going to do well no matter who's throwing the ball here. But the problem with the Colts for me is who's throwing the ball here. Anthony Richardson can't stay on the field. Daniel Jones is Daniel Jones. And then you have a rookie. So, I know the Colts are trying to stick it out with Anthony Richardson, but I think maybe next year, man, at some point, you got to start looking at QBs again. You have to. Anthony Richardson has not shown enough to be considered the QB of the future, and Daniel Jones is Daniel Jones. You have to start looking at QBs again, and I think we had a great pick. We got Riley Leonard, so, let's see what that guy can do. So that is the Colts looking at QBs, but I'm talking about someone above Riley Leonard. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, we got Riley Leonard, but, it's time for the Colts to start. If we have another losing season, it's time for the Colts to start looking at top-tier QBs. Now, if Anthony Richardson comes in and does his job and we make the playoffs, sure, keep rolling. But he has yet to do any of that. regardless of what I just said, the Ravens end up winning that preseason game by a score. Then we got the Browns, the game that drew the most attention because of Shedeur. Shedeur was excellent. 2 TDs, 138 yards, 14 for 23 passing, and he also ran. So Shedeur was excellent. Now everybody says it was against the Panthers. Well, first you were saying he wasn't going to be good at all. It's a preseason game. So, but here's my thing: is the Browns keep acting like they don't know who's the starting QB, who the starting QB is gonna be, and that's fine, But let's not act. Let's quit acting like Shedeur is the fourth best starting QB on the team. Okay, if y'all want to run Flacco out there on day one or Pickett, fine, do it. It's not gonna last long. Shedeur is gonna eventually replace them. But what I'm saying is, let's stop acting like he's actually a fourth-string QB. The man is a first or a second, and if you're not gonna give him first or second day one, then I think it's gonna be a situation where the Browns aren't gonna have a choice. Flacco is not gonna, I don't know how well they expect Flacco to do. Carry him all 17 games. I don't see that. Kenny Pickett is Kenny Pickett. Then you got Gabriel, who's clearly not as good as Shedeur. So how long are you gonna play the charade until you give Shedeur the starting job? And that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying here. The man came out in game one. He showed out. He should be coming out game two starting. Game two is tomorrow at 1 p.m. against the Eagles. I'd put him in there. I would definitely put him in there against the Eagles to see how he handles under pressure. The Eagles are clearly the champions and not the Panthers. And so I'd put him right back in there and see how he handles the Eagles. Then it starts the time to make a firm evaluation of Shedeur. You can start making a better evaluation. That's what I would do. But my point of bringing up this game is that I keep hearing the Browns are saying he's fourth in line. If that's the truth, then the Browns are just being the Browns. They're just holding him back for the sake of holding him back, because there is no way that he is the fourth in talent on that team at the QB position. And everybody knows that, and I think the Browns also know that. I think that they are maybe suppressing his. See, that's what it seems like. To keep leaking out in the media that he's the fourth string QB. Why are you letting that get to the media? And then he comes out and shows out, and then people ask you, is he going to start? And you say you still don't know. Okay, well, keep looking like jackasses. The Browns just seem like sometimes they want to look bad on purpose. If your QB comes out and shows out, then you respond accordingly. And the Browns refuse to respond accordingly, probably because they drafted him in the 5th round. I don't know what the reason is. I'm not in that Browns front office. But there's not 3 other QBs on the Browns better than Shedeur. And speaking of the Browns, Quinshon Judkins from Ohio State had the assault and battery charge on him, and everybody was laughing at him. He's freed of all charges. Quinshon Judkins won't face any battery charges or misdemeanor charges, and according to this information here, it looks like the woman lied. The woman showed pictures of bruises and beating, and the prosecution and the investigation says that the pictures were old and they were not new, and the time frame did not match from the time that the supposed alleged abuse happened. So this woman had fake pictures of her bruises that she showed the police, but they did not match the time frame of the time that she was dating Judkins. So the case has been thrown out. Also, it says that the woman, when the woman reported it, there was a delay. Apparently, the date that this happened, she did not report this immediately, and it did not get reported from a long time until a long time after she was with Judkins. So that was also a red flag. The amount of time she took to report it and the pictures did not match up to the time frame of her dating him. So the case got thrown out, and Quinshon is cleared of all charges, and I'm assuming he's going to be right out there with the Browns playing football. Barb Jones, 3, 4 of them. You know it already, man. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching, everybody. Burb Jones on X, 3_4_5_ on SportsTalk. Then we got the YouTube up in the corner, which needs more subscribers. And then if you just want to listen, right down there below. Make sure to go follow. You're going to see the highlights of this on TikTok soon. That's it. Quick and short podcast on a Friday. 15 minutes. That's how we like it, man. We out of here. Here's the screen. Bam, bam. We're going to be back one more time for this season, probably. And then the next episode after that will probably be season 3. That's it. That's all I got for y'all. Get out to your Friday. Have a good weekend.